So switching over to access to the Northwind database that has all this lovely data already in it, unlike some of our other example things in here. So let's look at what a report for employees could look like. So we have this table here that has all these different attributes. Got a lot of information in here. We've got 10 records all together, so we've got a pretty small company going on. If you remember the form for this, before we're messing with weird things, we have this puppy. Okay, so how ugly would it be if we just printed out the table for employees? Pretty ugly, right? It's going to be ordered in by our employee number field right here, and it's super wide. That's just not what you're going to turn in. This is beautiful. They've got this tab feature. You know, if they had the pictures loaded in, it'd have the pictures, all sorts of stuff. Is this something that you can actually print out though with tabs? Not really. So it's beautiful for a field, but it's not that great, or for a form, but it's not something that you can like print for like an employee directory or stuff like that. Right, so problematic. So that's why we need to make ourselves a report. All right, so employees. Let's go to create, and we've got a report section here, and look at that. There's this beautiful button that says reports. It says it creates a basic report to which we can add features. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, yeah, it's gross. This is page 1, page 2, page 3. So we've gotten 3 wide pages, which that's not gonna fly whatsoever. And yeah, sure, you could do things like over here and go, okay, it should actually be landscape. So that's only 2 pages. What? No, just kidding. It's still 3 pages wide. Like this is atrocious. Could we take this and do like massive rework to make this better? Yeah, it's actually going to be more work to do that than it would be just to do it from scratch in the first place. So yeah, don't push that button. It's not going to do good things for you for most things. It's just going to create something ugly. Don't give me that for your projects, please. That's not going to go well. So what can we do instead? Well, let's go to report design, do it from scratch. Okay, so first thing, let's look at what we have here. So we've got a details, that's like the meat of what you're doing. We've got page headers and page footers, which are very similar to what you have for Microsoft Word. Difference here is that it's super easy to increase or decrease the size of both the header and the footer, which is kind of cool. Much more intuitively and easily than Microsoft Word with all their margins and stuff, which is neat. We have the same design. Gonna still do the same thing over here with connecting it to data. Oh. Gotta get back to the report and set out of the detail view. Record source, we're gonna hook it up to the employees table. By the way, that you see sometimes the naming conventions for things like tables and stuff will actually say like table or query. And this is why, because the record source, when you have a lot of them, it's hard to tell what is what in here, whether it's the table or query, and if that matters to you, then that's the thing. Okay, so we're going to connect the record source to employees. Cool. Now we've got it's bound. Let's add in some attributes. So get out of the property sheet. We're going to do add existing fields. Okay, so we're not going to do everything in here, but let's. So if you double click, it'll add it like that. You can also drag and drop like that. So you can do that, select them all, do arrange, line them up to the top so they're aligned proper like that. So you don't have to do that guesswork. Let's say that we need the employee ID on here too. You can do, so I'm doing a shift and clicking to click all those, line those to the top. You can even go back in here and align those to the left. Normally these guys, when you drag them around, they're paired to their little match there. And so it can be trickier to do that, but this is a nice, easy way to get them aligned vertically and horizontally. Okay. And this is really far up from the top of the page. So we're going to at least move these up like that. Okay, so we've got our title, our employee number, we've got the name, and let's go ahead and add in that notes section because we saw that that is something that was left out of the other one for some reason. Okay, so great, first step done. Okay, so let's go into features in here. First thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to turn something off so that we can see what it looks like when this is not set up correctly. Actually, that one. Okay, I'm going to temporarily turn. Well, we'll just leave it there. Well, no, we'll switch both those off. Okay, so so notice that those were automatically on, but want to show you what those do so you're made aware of them. Okay, so let's take a look at this right now and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go to view, print, preview. Okay, so we have what we wanted. We've got title. It's not wide enough though, so that's a problem. It's cutting stuff off. And you see the notes, it's also cutting things off, and it's not anything to do with how wide it was per se, but it's because we told it don't grow. So it's not expanding to fit the data. And you can see here, just like with the forms, you switch through like this, and we have this annoying alternating color thing going on with the backgrounds. So yeah, that's still ugly. Let's fix things. Okay, so first thing, because it drives me nuts, is this alternative back color thing. We are going to just do no color on that. So that gets rid of the gray thing. That is like a callback to like old printer stuff that for some reason it has in there still. Okay, so a couple things that we can do in one go here. First, let's actually adjust these so we don't cut off titles and names. That's good. For this one, we can see what happens when we do that. So we just expanded it manually. Go back to the print report, and you can see, yep, that worked. We've managed to expand it big enough that none of the information there is cut off. However, if you work at a company that has thousands and thousands of employees, right now you have a report that has a lot of extra white space for no good reason. That is, if this is a printed report and you have like even like CL Genetics has like 1,200 employees, like that's a big stack of paper with a lot of blank spaces. Much less if you work for like Amazon and Boeing or something. So let's fix some of the things. First of all, we're going to switch this back on. Can grow, can shrink. So this is going to tell it grow and shrink with the data. We don't need it to be this big huge box every time. we can shrink this back to that. And that way, if there's a little bit, it'll take up a little bit of space. If there's a lot, then it'll grow to do its thing. For efficiency, we can actually move this up, get rid of all this extra white space. Okay, and actually and you can move these up with your arrows if you did not realize that, or you can use somewhere else like that. Okay, so let's look at what that looks like. Hey now, look at that. You can see that our notes field is growing and shrinking with the data. Pretty cool. And we have multiple people on one piece of paper because we basically cut off all the white space, and it's just repeating it, which is great. So instead of using 10 pieces of paper, now we just use 3. So we saved a lot of paper just now. So that's fantastic. If we had done the alternative, or the alternating, then this one would be gray and this one would be gray, which, while, yeah, that could be helpful in kind of separating out the blocks, a horizontal line could do a lot better job of that. And you're not wasting ink on gray for no reason. Okay, cool. So major improvements. Is that the best we can do for efficiency? Nope. Let's do something else instead. So what we're going to do is actually going to cut the title and move it up here into the page header. I'm going to move that off a little bit, and I'm going to move this, and we are going to, I mostly threw the employee ID in here for balance, so we're going to maximize the efficiency here. I'm just going to get rid of that completely because we don't have space in the one thing. Going to cut. Why am I not just dragging it? Because those two are connected. So I'm going to paste that. I'm going to actually move this puppy up and see. We can try to center these a little bit. And actually, I think what we can do there is arrange, align. Nope, those are only left to right, not centered. These. Nope. JK. So we're gonna have to eyeball that. And then into cut. Move that up here. Put that up here. Actually, we can bring our employee number back in here. Just for funsies. Fields, employee ID. Cut this. Paste it up here. Just, it's always placing in the section, but not where you want it to go. And yeah, manage space. How awesome is that? Okay, and then we can either do it that way, or do we actually need a label for notes? Probably not. So let's just cut the label for that because it's pretty obvious. And then we can just expand this all the way across. Get rid of our extra white space. Boop, just like that. Could I do this a little bit better in terms of lighting and stuff? Yeah, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's look at what this looks like. Ooh, look at that. We have maximized our efficiency here by putting this up here. So we eliminated that space waste there. We've got each of these inside their little things. And now we use barely over one page. We're just 2 pages to get these 10 items. That's pretty good. There we go. We see that on the right side. That could actually, oh, do I still have it as, nope, So 8.5 by 11 is a normal page, right? So we can line that up actually and move that there, and center those a little bit better. We don't actually need to make them wider, but we could because some of these titles can be a little wide. Move that like there. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Like that. See, you can expand it out so we actually change the width of the actual form itself, which is kind of cool. And by doing that, I managed to fit Jody into our page as well, mostly because she doesn't have notes probably. And so now we're down to 1 page. So we started off with 10 pages for the 10 employees, and now we're down to 1 page. And so we have maximized the efficiency with this. So that's pretty cool. And if we wanted to do something like add a horizontal line to help make those breaks more visible, we do something like that. We can get rid of the little lines around these. Remember, those are all just control things, right? So border with hairline. So we can, let's see. Nope. There we go. We can make those invisible. That should have worked. I haven't tested this out. Yep, there we go. See, so you can make each of these fields invisible, so it makes that part look less awkward. So here's where you want to start fine-tuning and doing your designing and stuff. Okay, so right now we have a basic report. Is it the most beautiful thing ever? No, but it's a really good start.